this Millennium Apple. And we got Unchained now. With a nice card, Dark Hole Dragon. It seems to be really good for the support. And of course, Magnum can search it. So we're going to get into some replays. And we're going to show y'all some cool replays. And here we go. Let's get it. Okay. So here goes a game against TGs, you know. The new TG stuff. Yeah, really, this is kind of funny because you'll see. This is why, really, I had to record a lot. But they're Unchanged are pretty simple but solid at the same time. But despite them being pretty simple, they can go into a lot of different directions thanks to King Yama and their new cards like the new big kind of beast looking ones. So he ended up messing up and he just decided to go ahead and scoop here. But as you can see, there are some other games, so here we go. I did play against zombies as well, so Zombie World can actually be annoying because a lot of your stuff gets locked in the fiends, and if you can't, that card basically prevents you, turns everything into zombies and stops you from some stuff from the graveyard. So, but the guy got cocky and thought I couldn't do anything, and this is where Dark Hole is like really, really exceptional, even as a additional card. But he plays some off the wall shit, and I really was like funny about that. I was like, really? Like, you play some weird ass stuff. I'm like, okay, I could have just let that die, but to my surprise, he's playing this card, which I wasn't damn sure expecting. Luckily, I get Pot of Extravagance. He played Killback, which, I mean, maybe in the zombies, I guess it should be kind of obvious at sometimes. But that was a bit, like, surprising. I guess it's like zombies are just random. They could be anything. And then it's revealed that he plays the new Horus card. So I said, this, activate Unchained Soul Shavanya from my deck, and then go for game 8,000 exactly. We had like 7,500, so there's that. And that's why that card's good, because you can just destroy set cards, which means any set monster, any set spell and trap card. You know, pretty cool. Oh, that's the TG. So sorry about that, guys. Is this a real deck? Or just... I don't really know if this is the real deck. I don't know, guys. This ain't... Yeah, this is not... No. You can kind of see how they do against this. I mean, this is kind of like them... This is, what, 2 impermanences? So a Dark Hole and then evenly matched. They have 1 impermanence left. Boom, activate the Shavaria. So this is not against a real duel, but that was still a pretty strong board. Nonetheless, still a pretty strong board, so I think that we did pretty well. Then we got that. They go for this. I'm like, okay. Get this back pitch, and then, we get the set card. So cool, we get the trap card back. Plus the monster, they go for this. They go ahead and go into this. I'm like, okay. Now this card, boom, I can activate this to pop my guy. Their card. So they decided to dump. He could have activated the card, I think, one of them. Anyway, Dark Hole. Then Yama can go off. Pop my trap. Use his effect to pop him. Get that. Use his effect. Pop this. Get another one. use his effect, pop that, get another one, and now we have exactly 8,000. Yeah, so that's kind of like a cool thing to show y'all that you could use while wheeling is kind of okay in the deck. Then we had some Vanquish Soul games. Now this one I believe I did lose just because he had a way better hand than I did at the time. But I don't know. I think he like ended up just somehow. I don't really know. He ended up scooping, but I think he had the dub because of Borg. Getting Borg early is just, especially if you can get this card early out enough. Yes, I can get. I did get off an evenly matched. My hand wasn't the greatest to try to combat. He just had a really good amount of advantage. And yeah, Ash Blossom 2, and then this thing is pretty good against this deck. Pretty good. And then having the backup, he had the backup Fenrir's, which kind of was annoying. At the same time, having multiple copies of those is a bit bad for the deck. Although you could play Floodgates of this deck at some point, if you really wanted to. But as you can see, most everything is just engine based. So there is that. And I decided to pop this on summon. But maybe I should have waited until he decided to attack. Maybe that could have been a bit easier for me because I wouldn't have to deal with the battle phase. So maybe I misplayed there. But maybe he misplayed here. But after this, we get that. This, of course, we know has a graveyard ability. So he decides to use that, but he doesn't get to pop anything. So I guess he thought he was going to get to pop something. So he decides to just swap them out. And then draw a card, but for no reason. I was like, activate this. Of course, you could have just done that. But he had two of these in hands, and he can reveal a Fire in the Dark, and then he can just pop cards. So he was pretty good, and his top deck was Harvest for this. So I'm pretty sure he won. And then we go into this. So interestingly enough, I actually misplayed this game pretty bad. But this is the power of time-rending Morganite. You guys are going to see how crazy. The card is insane. Allows you to get two cards to just start steamrolling. This build, I don't really think is the best time-rending Morganite build. As you see, I had Dark Hole Dragon in effect. So it cannot be destroyed by card effects. One of the turn, if a monster on the field is destroyed by card effects, it did not target you special on this card from the graveyard. If it was there when it was not destroyed or hand, even if not. If this card is special, activates during the end phase of this turn, add one Dark Hole from your deck to your hand. So either way, bro, I just activated a Pot of Extravagance, got two cards, and even on the end phase, I get another card to my hand. So pretty decent, even though I didn't really have any engine-based cards going for anything. And another Extravagance. But I could have easily just impermanence and killed my monster, but he's amassing like tons of advantage every turn just by drawing two cards. And one thing about Unchained is they do need some type of way to draw. But I accidentally put Dark Hole in the same column because, impermanence has the tendency to come back and bite you in the ass. And it's one of the cards that'll do that to me. For some reason, I wasn't completely out of the game yet, so I managed to do this and get escaped. But I would have, if I did do that misplay, I would have had Dark Hole. I would have had Dark Hole Dragon. Not to say it would have been any good, but yeah. So we end up doing that, and he ends up scooping, even though he doesn't really know what's in my hand. But I have a Dark Ruler no more, but he has this face down, so it would have been pretty bad. But he would have drew two cards next turn instead of one. Had four cards, and even had another evenly matched next turn Dark Hole. So yeah, it would have been good to keep the Dark Hole Dragon. And also, we have a dig against Evil Eye, which is pretty cool. Evil Eye, but he opens up not the best, most of the most optimal hand, but pretty good actually. So it wasn't so bad. He ended up transforming his hand, so he just had. The only thing that was kind of bad was he had 2 Troll Logbirds. But I ended up chaining this to that because he changed. So I think that was a misplay on his part. So you guys are gonna actually get to see some decent gameplay. I actually can. Magnum can actually search Darkhold Dragon. It's pretty good in phase being able to grab that. It was, as we know, that's just one thing that I did forget to note, is that you can't Abominable Unchained, and you can only chain 1 monster effect from your hand, and you can't chain 2, even though that's kind of messed up. So I wasn't able to chain. So right here I kind of misplayed, because if I would have, I would have went ahead and just summoned Unchained Soul, and then it would have made sense, and then on his turn absorbed his monster. But good thing I didn't do that, because he had Thrust. So I was just like, okay, I get Samsara. And because the cards like Thrust and Triple Tactical Talents, sometimes it's just good to wait. So I end up activating Dark Hole, and then I get 3 effects, and the Dark Hole Dragon comes back, the Sarama, and the Abominable Unchained Soul. So it doesn't even matter that my opponent does that, but once they see this, boom, they just scoop after, and I go into Abomination. That's like more than enough. You know what I'm saying? Plenty for game. Anyway, let's see. Then we get another Vanquish Soul game. Pretty cool, funny game though. But this one's really fast because he didn't. I guess he just had Small World in his hand. Funny that Unchained Soul and Vanquish Soul. It's pretty much these are pretty much just Unchained, and they're more like they have soul in all of their card decks, pretty much. They're Rock of the Vanquisher and Vanquish Soul. So Rock of the Vanquisher actually it's not a Vanquish Soul card. But yeah, he just goes right there. He makes a big mistake, and then I have effects popping off. I mean, so yeah, like that could have just summoned up the what you call from my hand. He had a way to protect it. The thing that's dangerous about that is that if you don't know if they have Borg in their hand, and so we really don't know. So yeah, and that is the Unchained with Dark Hole Dragon in the deck. So many decks can run this card, it's really insane. And you can also Magnum it and Alka Foolish Burial it. And you know, Unchained. And why I play it in this deck is actually because Unchained Soul can actually destroy a card on the field non-targeting by discarding a card. Pretty good because of Shavara having this new support card. You also get to set one of the Unchained's spell or trap cards straight from your deck to your field. So Drone Longbird really don't even hurt this deck because this deck doesn't really add anything except for off of Abomination's Prison. Everything is just like straight up set it back to the field, including like Sorama. So yeah, these guys have some crazy names like Shayama, Sharvana, and Sarama. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but they sound like some Indian names, like some not Indian, but Middle Eastern names. I don't want to say Indian, but Middle Eastern. But that's the deck, man. 3 Dark Holes. These things are actually better than you think they are because they proc your own effects. And you got extra destructive capabilities, and it's good going second. So I wouldn't really say this is like the best going first deck. It's kind of like going second, Unchained. But Unchained, they have like a decent going first hand, but they really only get like, they only can really put like, with hand traps maybe, they can maybe get like 5 interruptions. But that's at max, and that's probably with like Ash Blossom, unfortunately. But that Caesar, which still I didn't ever play the DDD Caesar combo. You can play this, and it says 2 level 6 Fiend monsters when a spell trap or monster effect is activated that includes the effect that stress summons a monster quick effect, you charge on the from this card, and get that for sure you do, destroy the card. Then you can remove the D monster control, and this card gain each time it takes at the end of the turn. Yeah, so you can just play DDD, Wave King, High Caesar. It's pretty good what you can do because this is supposed to be pretty easy to make. So you can just play this in the deck. Special monster activate that includes the effect of special ability monster quickly can touch on material for this card. And get that issue do for you do. So you can just play 3 copies of this in the extra deck probably so you don't banish it since it's pretty easy to summon. Instead of this other stuff I was just playing for OT key strategies and Dengursu for the ability to non-targeting removal, and it also, doesn't actually target it, non-targeting, and doesn't destroy. So it sends. So it's pretty good in that regard. You could probably keep that in the extra deck or something because you need something like that just in case you don't always have access to Dark Ruler no more. And evenly matched, even though it doesn't target, it may not. They might just keep another card around that you maybe are not gonna have. You're gonna have an issue to get rid of. So Dark Ruler no more. Really, really strong in this deck, especially because of that. But you could also easily play Kaiju package in this deck. Like it's super, super strong, super, super strong deck. And this video might be on the longer side, but this is a really interesting deck, especially for budget players that you can easily get into this deck. And also Ghost Ogre triggers Dark Hole Dragon, which is like really like niche, but then you have Magnamut that can search it, and you can also dump it with something like Foolish. And the dragon cards, the dragon, the Holified Dragon, or whatever that thing is, they renamed it. I think it's like the Dragon Bone Tower, whatever thing. It gets sent this to the graveyard as well. So there's so many ways to. Many decks can play Dark Hole Dragon, but this deck seemingly benefits off of it in a way where this card procs your own effects and searches it. And can't really say what deck this Dark Hole Dragon is going to be the best in, but this is definitely one that is playable in. You can just use this proactively instead of defensively just to be able to summon him and to be able to proc your own effects. So you're using this like as a starter and even a board wipe at the same time. So it can be used defensively and offensively. I find that really interesting. So Darkhold is looking to be even a better card than Raigeki going forward. And it's crazy because it's the one that got a monster. And Raigeki can activate it. Of course, torrential, but Raigeki also destroy all your opponent's monsters. Boom, it activates. Obviously, we're playing Dark Hole because it's searchable and it activates our own effects. So we're completely like good off. And of course, you have Abomination's Prison, which allows you to search any card. So I don't really think that you needed too many normal summons with this deck. So 6 should be enough. 5 to 6 to 7. Even though these guys can special summon, so they're obviously not always going to have an Unchained card to do so with, and you got the extravagances. And something that this deck still lacks is being able to draw cards. And that's one thing that I think the deck still suffers from, is being able to draw cards. The only other thing that I can say that could potentially help this deck is maybe like to fix that problem is maybe like bestials. And that is one thing that I know people are probably gonna hate, but that is one thing that it definitely could potentially get into playing as like a bestial package. Maybe some kind of small bestial package, maybe a big bestial package. But maybe that'll change the deck a lot. But they don't really have any access outside of keeping an engine to do anything with outside of it, other than playing those cards. And the new Dark Hole cards are really nice, but I don't really know if you're gonna really want to get into playing a Bestial package. But somebody leave a comment, like, and subscribe, man. This is gonna be more on the longer side. Gave y'all some hot topics to discuss, man. Let me know what y'all think, because Bestial Magnamid is nice, and some of the other Bestial cards are really nice, man. They can recover things for you. They can special summon and give you bodies. Just really overall good engine support, even for this deck, but it's somewhere in between of like conflicting and being sort of good, and it could be a situation where I'd be like, wow, that's nice, but mainly you just want to be able to set up the big level 8 dragon that can pitch, and then the probably not the trap, but like the rebranded card. Something like that I think could be really interesting and unique, and even a small package could potentially put the deck in a good spot. But yeah, that could be another video. But maybe somebody else will do it and put it out. Maybe it could be pretty nice. But sheesh.